Okay, so the main goal for this last ed puzzle that we have is to make sure you get a sense of what's going on with equations, with tables, with finding graphs, and from finding slopes from tables, and be able to interpret graphs is what I was going to get to. So your first idea here, I would like you to have your notebook out. I would like you to take a picture of your work. I will tell you the problems that you must do work on. Some you won't. Some are just graphs you can look at and interpret. This one, you would. So what I would want you to do is go ahead and try to find the slope from this table. If you forget how to find slope, I'm using a mouse. I don't have my document camera. I thought this would be the easiest way to go about giving you some work here. Go ahead and write that formula down if you'd like. You should memorize this for next week, okay, while you're testing. And then to figure out the slope, you're just going to go 7 minus 5. 7 is your x and y, right? So this is your y's. These are your x's. Y minus y, x minus x. 3 minus 2. Now they're in a nice order, so they're going to give you positive numbers. 7 minus 5 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. But what if you did it and they were both negatives? Remember, 2 negatives would still create a positive. But this one, your slope would be 2. Okay? Cool. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Again, I would like to see this work on your paper. For this one now, I want the full equation of what you're looking at here. Go ahead and attempt to give me the slope, which you know, again, your slope is going to go here next to your x. Let's get comfortable with this for next week when we test. Now the testing, I want you to do the best you can. The high schools will be looking at this, all right? They will be possibly placing you on how you do on this. So 22 minus 17. Why am I doing that? Y minus y over x minus x. All right, when I get to this point, 22 minus 17 is actually 5. 4 minus 3 is 1, okay? So then your slope is going to be, remember, it goes right there, okay? For this next step, you must know what to do here to figure out the y-intercept. Many of you are still kind of in a fog when it comes to this step. What you have to do now is figure out what the ending part of your equation is. How are you going to do that? You're going to replace an x and a y with an x and a y in here. You can pick either any of these x and y, x, y, but it has to be a coordinate point. These are points on a graph, okay? Remember that. I'm going to choose 2 and 12. Any one will work. But if I put 2, where's 2 going to go? 2 is an x, so I'm going to put it where the x is. 12 is a y, so I'm going to put it where the y is. Understand this concept. We are trying to make this fit. We are trying to make this make sense. So 12 is over here. So for it to make sense, this side would also have to equal 12 to make it a true statement. And that's when we say it checks out, okay? When we look at this though, remember this is multiplication. Does this check out? 5 times 2 is 10. Does that equal 12? Of course not. What could I do to make it equal 12? Is 10 plus 2 12? Then there's my equation, okay? My final equation would be y equals 5x plus 2, okay? You can do this. Do not say to yourself, oh, this is too difficult. I don't know how to turn a table into an equation. You are all capable of handling this. This is high school. This is freshman year. If you are able to do this with your teachers without even having them teach it to you, they're going to be impressed with you. Because I guarantee all these teachers are going to be like, oh, it's COVID. These 8th grade teachers didn't do much. They didn't teach you guys anything. And that's wrong. You guys have learned a lot this year. So I want you to show off next week when you take this test. And I want you to show off next year as freshmen. I mean, that's my main goal, is that you guys succeed in high school. All right, let's move on. This work needs to be on your paper. All right, now this one, there's no work you need to put in. You don't need to write anything down, but you need to pay attention. Which point fits this equation? Go ahead and try to give me an answer for this. And I'm curious. It's okay if you get it wrong, but let's make sure we understand what is happening here. This is the idea that we just did a second ago, where it had to fit the equation. This point fit this equation, right? Oops. This point, 2, 12, fit the equation once we added the 2. So let's see which of these points fits this equation. And you know what surprised me is you guys got this pretty quick when we learned this in August and September. So does 10, if I put 10 right here, right, that's my x, isn't it? So if I put 10 right there, 10 times 3 is 30, plus 4 is 34. So all of this would equal 34 because I put the 10 where the x is. Is this 34? No, so it does not fit. Let's try the next one. Where does the 2 go? Right here, right? So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. Is that what we're looking for? Yep. So that's our answer, 2 comma 10. That fits the equation perfectly. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. This one, you do not have to write on your notebook. I would like an answer though. What do you think the slope is on this equation? As you look at it, let's go. Rising 1, rising 2, rising 3, rising 4. Rising 4. Okay? Running 1, running 2, running 3, running 4, running 5. Running 5. Okay? Rise 4, run 5. 4 over 5 would be your slope. It's a positive number, isn't it? It's a positive fraction. That's a positive number, and it's good. It's going up. It's good for business. It's also 0.8 if it was a decimal. Okay? Ooh, write the equation. This one you don't have to write anything, but let me give you a little bit of help. You're going to need to know this point right here, okay? And I would like you to go ahead. Ooh, I can give you that point. Sweet. And then let me see if I can give you this point too. Cool. Take a look at those 2 coordinates. I would like you to give me the full equation. What do you think the whole equation is? First of all, y equals, you're definitely going to write down, something x plus, I'll give you a clue, plus, where is that y-intercept? 0, 3. 0, 3. Okay? Let me see if I can leave that there. And that means 3 goes right there. Now, what's my slope? I'm going to rise 1, rise 2, run 1, run 2, run 3. 2 over 3. And that's how you would write this equation out. All right? You may see problems like this. Don't quit on the graph. You got this. You can do this. It's a positive slope. Y equals 2 over 3x plus 3. Now, if you ever see something like this, f of x, they may show it like this sometimes too. That just still means y. This is in function notation. This is a function. That's just function notation. Don't worry about it. It's the same thing as saying y equals, all right? And that confuses people sometimes. No problem. Don't worry about that. You're going to see that more in Algebra 2 for sure, your junior year. All right. Now your notebook is back out. Let's take a look at this problem. I'm going to go ahead and I am actually not going to be able to show work on this one because my screen is a little... Actually, no, I can. Let me see what I can do. If I do this and hopefully it'll still work for me. Let's see if I just give it a little space and hoping this is still on there. If it is still working, I'm hoping you're going to see which slope is larger, table A or table B. This is how I would set it up. All right, over. All right, that's how I set this one up. Y minus y over x minus x. And then what about down here? 12 minus 18 over 4 minus 6. All right, now go ahead and use your calculator if you'd like. You can use your phone calculator. You can use the computer one. I don't care, but try to get it to an answer. And when I look at this, I see 18 minus 26. That's going to be negative 8. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. 2 over 8, 2 negatives. I get a positive 4. Okay. Here, 12 minus 18, negative 6. 4 minus 6, negative 2. Negative 6 over negative 2 equals a positive 3. And we've actually had this one recently. So which table's bigger? Table A. All right. Hopefully this worked. Kind of worried that the computer got a little glitchy on this one. We're going to skip a couple of these. All right, this one's interesting. How much would it cost for just one guest to go? This is a retirement party, okay? How much would it cost for one guest to go? Well, this is rising and running. So what's my slope here? That's important to find first. Rising 20, we're rising 20. Do you guys see that? You got to be able to interpret graphs. You don't have to write anything down for this one. Rising 20, running 10. And if we wanted to interpret this is $20, right? For 10 guests. So look at my beautiful drawings. For 10 people. $20 for 10 people. What is it for one guest? Let's do some common sense, some logic here. If it's $20 for 10, how much would it be for one? And you can actually do this shortcut, cross out the zeros, $2 per one guest. Doesn't that make sense? If it's $2 per one guest, for 10, it would be 10 times 2, it would be $20. So $2, $2. All right, now this is interesting. Sometimes people struggle with understanding the slopes when the values are different. What's the slope here? Rising 1, running 2? Rising 1, running 2? See how I'm saying 2 with like a question mark? Is it really running 2? Look at my units. What are my units going by on the bottom? It is 1. 1 pound on the moon is how many pounds on Earth? 1 pound on the moon is 6 pounds on Earth. Notice how each unit's going by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Okay? And I think this math is right. 1 pound on the moon is 6 pounds on Earth, which just means how much force gravity is pulling on you. All right? Doesn't mean you're going to look skinnier on the moon, but the gravity's less on the moon. All right? All right, we're just about finished. I would like you to look at this one. This is our last problem. It says which plane is going at a faster rate? Now, look at plane A and plane B. How are we going to figure out plane A? What's the rate here? If you remember, the rate is always going to talk about the slope. Why do you think my lesson this week was all about the slope, okay? This is the starting point of whatever the plane started at. It had a head start on whatever it was being measured on, but this is the speed it's going. 500 hours, 500 whatever per hour, 500 miles per hour probably. So the plane A is going 500. How do we figure out plane B? Well, it's a table. This is X, this is Y. Go ahead and find the slope for me, please. You know how to do this. 60 minus 860. Why did I do that? Y minus Y over X minus X. If you finish it off, you're going to get negative 800 on the top, negative 2 on the bottom. You divide it, that's going to be positive 400. 2 into 800 is 400. So which plane's going faster? The one that's at 500. Plane A. Okay? Best of luck, you guys. Hopefully this is helpful. Turn in any late work you can this weekend. Grades are going to be basically done by Monday. I'm going to put them in the grade book. You're done at that point. So I know a lot of people are scrambling trying to get their grades up. You should be. You should look at your grade and see if there's anything you can do. All right? Get this done by noon and post your work after. See ya.